Earlier on the channel, you watched as Godzilla attacked an oil refinery and saved one of his fellow titans in this video right here. And now it's time to learn more about this ocean-faring titan known as Na Kika. Being mentioned in the book adaptation of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and having a minor role in the comic story Godzilla Dominion, the titan has managed to become one of the select few that Legendary Studios has brought to life in their universe. This monster has a few clever tricks up its 8 long tentacle sleeves, along with one of the more interesting designs in the Monsterverse. This video will tell you all there is to know about the Monsterverse Kraken. Monster Breakdown Na Kika. Let's get to it. Na Kika is based loosely on an old Micronesian myth that states that a gigantic octopus called Na Kika helped create the world by lifting the land out of the sea with its 8 powerful tentacles, creating the islands of the world. The titan does indeed resemble an octopus or squid, but mostly just with its 8 long tentacles, while the rest of its body looks more like some sort of water insect. Na Kika is also termed the Kraken within the lore of the Monsterverse, which, as many of you know, is the great sea monster who would attack sailors, destroying their ships and consuming the crew. Na Kika is very much large enough to take down an old wooden ship. Even though there are no official measurements, we can make some guesstimations on the creature's size based on the imagery of it compared to Godzilla in the graphic novel Dominion. We can roughly estimate that the body of Na Kika is somewhere around 150 feet, making the monster about the size of Mothra. But regarding its tentacles, stretch them out and we estimate them to be at least 500 to 800 feet long. As far as weight, Na Kika's smaller body likely puts it around the 10 to 20,000 ton mark, but it could weigh much more when carrying its shell on its back. A giant cone-shaped shell is mentioned to have been attached to Na Kika in the King of the Monsters book, but when we see it in Dominion, there is no shell to be seen, proving that the monster can either take the shell off at will or that it was lost in some battle. Underneath its shell lies a vibrantly colored body that glows aqua blue and has shades of purple and pink. An odd flap of skin that can be manipulated to flare out or be tucked in is located on its back. This is likely used as a way to ward off attackers or to appear more threatening than it already is. Its head roughly resembles that of Mothra's in the Monsterverse, with 2 giant eyes that are perfect for seeing in the deep trenches of the ocean where there is hardly any light. And a deep and dark trench is exactly where Na Kika was first discovered by modern mankind. Some decades back, the monster swam upon an old wrecked nuclear submarine from the Cold War somewhere out in the Indian Ocean. Whether or not Na Kika destroyed the submarine is up to debate, but the beast wrapped its 8 limbs around the sunken vessel, using its powerful suckers to latch on tightly, and proceeded to go in a state of hibernation while simultaneously sucking the energy out from the atomic sub. An interesting side note on Na Kika's limbs is that while there are at least 8 tentacles, these protrusions all seem to form from what appear to be standard bases of limbs, almost like shoulders and hip joints, making the monster look eerily human-like in some positions. Na Kika was eventually discovered by Monarch when they detected the high levels of radiation and biosonic emissions coming from the ship and Titan. While the beast slept, an entire Monarch outpost was built around the resting giant. For quite some time, Na Kika remained dormant, until one day, like many others of its kind, it was awoken by King Ghidorah. Na Kika was contained using a special containment field that was created specifically for use against the Titans. Think of it like a force field you would see in Star Wars. This technology was still in early stages of development, but it worked flawlessly against Na Kika, keeping the monster at bay, until the clever Titan used one of its many tricks in order to escape. Na Kika shut down its entire body energy system, making the monster appear to be dead. The containment field worked, but it was made to work against living, breathing titans. Once Na Kika shut its body down, the technology behind the force field was not able to pick up the signals it needed to work. Na Kika simply floated right through the containment field, and then once it was in the clear, burst back to life and proceeded to destroy the entire facility in a fit of rage. Na Kika was revered by the island locals who worshipped it, and mostly is thought to be a tame titan. But after being trapped, prodded at, and forced against its will, its peaceful nature had gone. The ability to go between living and dead is not Na Kika's only trick. It also can change its gender at will, going from male to female and vice versa in a matter of seconds. What purpose this has, no one knows. and it is also said to be able to quickly regrow any lost limbs or regenerate quickly from severe wounds, which allows it to take massive damage while escaping the dangers. And on top of all that, Na Kika is able to change its colors to suit its environment, just like an octopus or squid. The brain of Na Kika is considerably larger when compared to its body size than most of the other titans, and its high levels of intelligence put it near the top when it comes to titan brain power. However, its body is still relatively weak in titan standards. In Godzilla Dominion, Na Kika is trapped by titan traffickers at some point between then and when it was awoken by Ghidorah. We don't know how long Na Kika was in this net, but it wasn't going anywhere anytime soon if it didn't get help. Godzilla was able to snap apart the net that was holding Na Kika down with his bare hands, with hardly any effort. Although it is said that Na Kika was poisoned, likely given the same style of drug used to contain Kong, which no doubt weakened the beast. After Godzilla released Na Kika, the Titan let out a tremendous burst of electric energy, and then quickly retreated deep into the ocean. It is implied that Na Kika listened to Godzilla and went into a deep hibernation somewhere out there in the deep. Will the Titan ever make a return though? Well, it could. It is still alive and can always make a comeback in some form of media if Legendary wishes to create more content for the Titans of the Monsterverse who can't always make it to the big blockbuster movies. The monster owes Godzilla a favor, so I could definitely see it coming back to help him out somewhere down the line. How would you bring back Na Kika in the lore? Let us know in the comments. So let's get to that monster report. As far as brain power goes, Na Kika is ranked at the very top of the known Titan list, maybe even being as smart as Kong, but there's no way to really prove that. But Na Kika is one of the few Titans shown to use its brain and not brawn to combat the forces against it, and you have to give it major points for that. All of its wild abilities to appear dead, change gender, and blend into its environment are also super advantages when it comes to survival. However, Na Kika may be one of the physically weaker Titans. Destroying human vessels and facilities is easy for any Titan, but when it comes to these sort of unfathomable acts of strength we routinely see the Titans do, Na Kika doesn't quite stack up. For the simple fact that Na Kika appears to be a mostly defensive Titan, wishing to stick to its own and not challenge any of the other Titans for supremacy, and that it was able to be held and captured by a ragtag group of pirates, places Na Kika in the Gamma category amongst the hierarchy of Titan. The Kraken isn't about to challenge Godzilla for the throne, but it likely never intended to ever do so in the first place. So residents, what do you think about Na Kika? Let us know down in the comments below. I can't thank you all enough for your time today, and I will see you in the next one.